HS afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't see anything of note on there. That works. That works.
Living up the field.
I don't know. I haven't seen. I won't.
How big is it, Russ? How big is it, yeah?
Anyways.
Yes, no.
We never read it when I first started. Like, you know, some of the
The name Jason is the.
It's weird. This back on. See if that can work.
Recording in progress.
We don't have it turned on.
We are ready. Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome all of you to the Las Animas County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. We're calling this meeting to order. I want to ask you to please rise for an invocation by Commissioner Tony Haas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Luis Lopez.
Dear God, we come before you to say thank you for letting us see another day. We thank you for granting us the strength to win the battles of everyday life. Lord, we don't know everything we will face today. Guide us through every moment, walking in your will. Keep our family and friends free from disease and harm. All this we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, Mr. Dorncamp.
Commissioner Luis Lopez. I'm here. Commissioner Hess. Here. Commissioner Felix Lopez.
I am here. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Mr. Dorncamp?
No changes, Commissioner.
We talked about one of the items. You want to move that to?
Do you want to table it at the time it comes?
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Do you want to
Thank
take
you,
this?
sir. So no changes. Any discussion? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess? Yes. Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Section 2, consideration of minutes. We have 7 attachments, commissioners, to the packet. So,
Chairman, I would move that I've had a chance to read all the minutes, and I would move we combine them all together, A through F, for the Meeting minutes at this time, and a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes, going to the next portion, section 3, reading of correspondence, Commissioner Committee reports. Commissioner Haas, would you like to go first?
Sure. On November 8th, I received an invitation to attend the Colorado Outdoor Partnership Agritourism Board. There was a vacant seat left by a former CCA meeting, or CCA individual, and they wanted me to fill that ag seat, so I told them I wouldn't make a commitment, but I would come and see what they were about, and I'd make a decision after then. So their vision is Colorado has one of the fastest growing populations in the country, with a current population of 5.5 million projected to jump to 8.5 million people by 2050. For residents, and a robust tourism economy puts added pressure on lands and waters and outdoor recreation resources on private non-developed lands. Increased development along with year-round activity impacts natural landscapes and native wildlife. These challenges need to be met with thoughtful planning to ensure that Coloradoans continue to enjoy a high quality of life. That was their narrative. There were 14 major organizations, I'll name a few: Department of Natural Resources, Trust for Public Lands, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, GOCO, and the Nature Conservancy, and many others, 9 others. With 90 individuals present, I was the only ag representative in the room, which was disturbing to me because they were making the decisions for private property, and their main objective now is to develop a agritourism network in southeastern Colorado, southern Colorado, without any agricultural input. That was disturbing. And so I guess I'm going to fill that seat because somebody needs to be there. And I don't know, it was disturbing to me that they had already developed a plan, and they were going to put this in front of the ranchers and say, this is the plan, and hoping that they would sign off on these plans. And I laughed at them and told them, you haven't been inclusive. There's no collaboration here. You're asking to go onto private property without any sideboards. They haven't had their chance to engage, and it's not going to happen. And they said, well, Commissioner, if you don't like what is presented here, at our next meeting, could you come up with something that would be more attractive for the rancher? And I said, I'll do better than that. I'll do it over the lunch hour. This paragraph that I came up with was exploring a voluntary collaborative partnership for conservation, recreation, and agritourism possibilities while safeguarding agriculture integrity and productivity. We'll see how that goes. Their next meeting is next month, and I'll be attending that meeting also. On November 11th, I had the honor to attend and address the Veterans Day dinner. Linda Barron knocked it out of the park again, and Judge Michelle did a really good job of emceeing the event. And as always, it was a packed house. Several times I was thanked for the county's support. They did receive some funding, and because of that, they can do this program free of charge to all the veterans that attended. It was a great event. On November 14th, we had the joint budget hearing between Los Alamos County and Orfordville County, the DA and the Health Board. I'll let my other commissioners expound on that, but Henry Solano, our DA, didn't participate. He didn't come to the meeting. On November 15th, Los Alamos County and the Trinidad Legislative Roundtable took place at the Space to Create. And as always, it was well attended. Legislators that were present were Ty Winters, Rod Pelton, and the Congressman Bennett's aide was there. Also, Hickenlooper's aide and Bogart's aides were present. Tara Marshall with DOLA, Sarah Blackhurst with Action 22, and your Los Angeles County team, Lopez, and Haas, and Mr. Phil Dornkamp for president. As well as Mayor Rico, Mayor-elect Rico, Pro Tem Mayor Ogletree, and Eli DeBono, I believe. And that concludes my report.
Sir, thank you for representing Los Angeles County on the committee. Much appreciated. Commissioner Rico, please.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner Haas, for that as well. And I'll touch on Commissioner Haas here in a minute as well from the Legislative Roundtable, but I'll start off with the ninth of the Urban Renewal Board meeting, which we had recently. And just for the community to know, we do have an opening, a seat opening for the Urban Renewal Authority, and you do not have to be a city resident. We've been trying to move Assessor Amato for years to join it. I understand it's very difficult with all the things you have going on, especially with young children at home still. But for anybody who is wanting to get involved in the city level with the Trinidad Renewal Authority, we do have a position open. That would be a great asset for any other office members of our community, of our county offices to sign up and move forward to that. During that meeting, we did move forward. We had our budget hearing, and we will be moving forward with our budget for adoption at our next board meeting. And some housekeeping and paying some bills and stuff. But we also did, I'm very proud of, is a lease agreement with the Earth Mountain Education Farm, which is on Linden Street, which we visited as commissioners about 2 years ago with Commissioner Haas. Joni Steiner and the Earth Mountain Education Farm does a great job with promoting farm-to-table production in this community. So we appreciate her very much moving forward. Again, we do have an opening, so if anybody's interested, please contact Chairman Ed Grego. You can reach him at Grego Insurance for moving forward with the City of Trinidad, Steve Ruber, or anybody at the city. On the 14th, I'll reiterate the county health and district attorney by county meeting. We met in Warrenville County, and as a board of health member, I appreciate all the work that Kim Gonzalez has put forward to that, and also Commissioner Haas and Commissioner Lopez for always being on those meetings, for understanding better the complexities that the health department has at this point in time, especially as we move out of COVID and moving into the next realm of public health, which is a lot going to be mental health as well. So there's going to be new aspects of recovery and moving forward this time. And as Commissioner Haas mentioned, our district attorney was a no-show for the second year in a row. I don't know how many more times this community can stand having no accountability on his end, but for me, I am in my rope with it. So hopefully he will start showing accountability for his office and the funding mechanisms that he's receiving from Los Angeles County. On the 15th, the Legislative Roundtable was held, and it was a great opportunity to visit with our representatives throughout the state and hear updates. I was able and proud to give an update on the Front Range Rail and where we're at with that. However, Commissioner Haas was very humble and didn't mention how he was recognized that night for the hard effort he puts on for the Energy Impact Assistance Grants Fund Board, and he is on, and how he is championed for rural Colorado to the point of assisting that organization in the awarding of $7 million for Warrenville County during their last round of hearings. So kudos to Commissioner Haas and what he does for rural Colorado for the energy impacts and the monies received. After the meeting, I was able to go to dinner with the legislators and with Tara Marshall, Mayor Rico, Mayor-elect Grego as well, and continue some dialogue in the city manager as well. So it was nice to have some discussion regarding how we move forward in this community and what's going to help Los Angeles and the city of Trinidad. On the 16th, I was on the CCI Energy meeting that they had, emergency meeting, not energy, but the HH meeting for the legislation, and my two fellow commissioners were on that as well, representing and listening in on how we move forward, and I believe we'll have an update today from Assessor Amato on that legislation that was signed, I believe, yesterday. And then yesterday morning, I was on my Otero Partners Incorporated board meeting. It was a very short agenda, but it was very productive. There was one loan on the table that was not moved upon at this time. It was denied. And I'd like to thank our financial board members of Christy Coberly and Felix Lopez for the recommendations regarding this loan. The board agreed with you at this time. It's too soon for that much money for that applicant. But we look forward to that company's success, which they are a current borrower, and moving that organization into a larger capacity at some time in the future. So, Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you, sir. Without belaboring the point, I want to wish everyone on behalf of the Board of Los Angeles County Commissioner and every employee from Los Angeles County, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. For those of you that are going to be on the road, safe travels and enjoy family and friends. All of us need to just unwind for a tad. The Colorado legislature cooked a turkey over the last 4 days, and they stuffed it any which way they wanted. So I think we're going to be hearing from our assessor here pretty shortly. They called a special session to provide relief to the taxpayers in regards to property taxes. 7 bills were approved, and of this, there is a possibility that a lawsuit is going to be coming out of this whole thing because the voters loudly said by 60% statewide, keep your hands off of my table refunds, and I believe they're touching on the fringes of it. And so that's going to be a challenge that we expect, and I hope it's going to go forward. The exciting thing of what happened here is that at the very end of the day yesterday, I listened pretty much to the session as it went through. One of the bills that was approved had to do with providing, Senate Bill 2 provides food for low-income children during summer months with $6.65 million in 2023 and declining in following years. Well, this could have been picked up on the general session. And of course, this is kind of after, I think, when you're guilty of something, it makes you feel good. At the end of the day, let's help somebody. That's my opinion, and I'll stand not to make it a board comment, but as I enjoyed the legislature going through the process, we kind of knew what was going to happen. There was no bipartisanship that I can really put my finger on. There was not working across the aisle, and the majority of the amendments that were brought forth from the Republican side were ignored, dismissed, and killed, and a lot of the bills that came from the conservative Republican side of the aisle were killed in committee, and that happened on Saturday. So, but I really want to extend and give a big shout out to our assessor because I kept texting over the weekend and hey, what's going on here? So Friday I had an opportunity to provide a few comments on one of the bills, and the reminder was simple. Remember HH. Remember what the voters of Colorado said. And let us work together to provide relief to the people that need it the most. But in it, this convoluted the whole thing. And then one of the bills that I think it's Proposition HH also said no, is now the table refunds are going to be equally the same. They're going to be equalized. So this is the redistribution of wealth, which is not what the state of Coloradans said on the November 7th. So keep your eye on what's going to happen. We believe one of the good things that came out of the whole thing, there's going to be a committee composed of 19 members. These 19 members, it's going to be some type of a blue ribbon committee that will actually work through the process on making sure, and this is only a one-year solution. I hope that we're not in the same boat a year from now, finding solutions henceforth, which is really not who we are. But nonetheless, this is what happened, and elections have consequences, and when you have a supermajority, you can really drive that train without anyone stopping it. So we'll hear more on that from our assessor. A couple of weeks ago, we had an opportunity to receive an award letter from Department of Local Affairs. We were awarded $950 million for some projects.
$950,000.
$950,000, $950 million. Wouldn't that be awesome? So, there's a lot of excitement. So $950,000 which it is $1 per dollar match. So we're going to be paving some roads, and we're going to be doing some really good projects. And last week, also, Mr. Dorenkamp and I had an opportunity to travel to the underfunded courthouse, State of Colorado Supreme Court building to present a grant on the amount, I wish it was $550 million, $550,000 for the renovation of our elevator in this courthouse, as well as one of the courtrooms expansion. So that was an exciting trip to Denver, and it was exciting to see all the projects that are going on throughout the judicial system. And let me close with this. The important thing here that we have Commissioner Tony Haas serving on the DOLA grant appropriation group. There's going to be a change of command. Rick Garcia is now actually transitioning. That's the report actually said he's transitioning on to probably retirement. And so we had an opportunity to cut up with Rick on Saturday as he was going through back to Albuquerque. Had just a quick cup of coffee with him, and so we are going to be, the new director of DOLA is going to be Maria DiCambra. She comes directly from the governor's office. So we hope that we continue to have the support of DOLA through whatever means we need to continue to do projects here in Los Angeles County. So,
Can I expand
Please.
expand on that just a little? In some of the conversations, I've heard that DOLA will no longer be a supportive agency, but a
regulatory.
agency after this appointment. So that was disheartening to hear, and we'll see if it comes to fruition. Challenging times.
Thank you, commissioners. And at this moment, I'm going to ask our elected officials update. I see one of them in our presence. County Assessor, Mrs. Jody Amaro, would you join us? Do you have an update for us?
No. Good morning, all. To say since last Friday has been a long and treacherous walk would be an understatement. As we all know, the governor convened special session last Friday to address local property tax. Funny, we only addressed one bill that was local property tax, but we got a slew through there that really have not a lot to do with it. Like commissioners, I myself was on Zoom meetings, phone calls. I was in a consultant position, essentially trying to help legislatures understand what 64 assessors' offices could and could not do in such a short amount of time. By Colorado statute, we have to get our mill levies, actually our certifications, final certifications should be going out the door. They would have been going out the door by December 10th. Now everything has been pushed to a January date. We were trying to help drive the train, or at least move the tracks as fast as we could in a positive direction. We as assessors, we completely understand. Local property tax is going to increase. We are the ones that did the work. We are the ones that did the protest. We are the ones that had to answer to the constituents on why their taxes could possibly be increasing by half. Some legislatures failed to understand that we as assessors and assessors' offices and my staff, we are the front line. We are the face to their constituents. We are the ones that took the protest, the beating, and did our job according to law, and we did it well. But we also agreed that we needed to give some tax relief to taxpayers. We also understand that we did not want to do harm, that we could not do harm to our local entities. And that was a very hard conversation and a very hard point to make as legislatures understand that when you touch this piece of the machine, it also affects this piece of the machine, and it works together. And trying to educate people that don't understand how the machine works was probably the most daunting task of all. I think I'm going to sleep or drink for the next 4 days. The turkey can wait. But we were able to get a Senate bill passed. It was Senate Bill 23B001, Property Tax Relief. What this does is the following. A reduction in residential assessment rate from 6.765 to 6.7. Currently, the assessment rate for all residential is 6.765. So we were able to take it down, not a full percent, but a little bit, which will help. Currently under Senate Bill 22-238, we have taken off $15,000 actual value off residents, $30,000 off commercial values. This Senate Bill 23B001, we are going to be taking and removing $55,000 of actual value off of all residential properties. Just a term I learned through the legislative process. Quick back of the envelope math. I was able to do that yesterday. It looks like it will impact Los Animas County roughly around $220,000 actual through the door property tax dollars. The biggest part of this bill that really was debated and seemed to be what the catch was the backfill mechanism. Senate Bill 22-238, which was passed and affectionately known as the COVID bill in 2022, had a backfill mechanism set up, and it depended on how much revenue you were going to lose from the COVID, from the reductions from being impacted by COVID and things of that nature. Well, they tried to mirror the backfill in this, and there was a lot of people at the table, there was a lot of discussions. I have not seen the entire bill yet as it was signed. I've just seen pieces and parts that actually affect what I do. But there will be a backfill. It's just depending on how much of the valuation you increase determines how little of a backfill you're going to receive. I do know fire districts are going to get backfilled 100%, and I believe school districts were on there for 100%. The rest of the districts, it just depends on how high your valuation, what that percentage increase was. So according, in the terms of our good governor, we're all going to take a little haircut. This bill was very debated. It was very discussed. I think we beat this horse to death and then brought it back and beat it to death again. But as the assessor, I'm very glad that they actually listened to a small portion of what we were telling them, because this is something 64 assessors' offices can do. We can implement it because we've already had to put this into our computer systems. What it does to our certification dates, and this is for 2023 only, the certification of values from assessors to local governments would have gone out December 10th, 2023 by Colorado law. Now I have to get those out by January 3rd of 2024. Local governments to submit their levies to the Board of County Commissioners would have been December 15th of 2023. Now it's going to be January 10th of 2024. Commissioners will certify levies, which we would have done, you would have done as a board, prior to December 22nd, 2023. Now you will have to accomplish that on January 17th of 2024. The tax roll, which I will deliver to the treasurer, would have had to have been done by January 10th of 2024. Now I have until January 24th of 2024. There's a lot of other language in this bill concerning what the treasurer will have to do and how they will get theirs out, because by law they have to get tax bills out as soon as January 1 of 2024, as they usually do. But there's some language in there to give some forgiveness on interest accrual if that first payment isn't made, and there's some other language that affects treasurers. So we will see how this works. I can tell you, as the assessor for this county, we will be implementing this as soon as I have a signed copy and I get the okay from the Department of Taxation to move forward with this. But it does push all of those deadlines out. I had sent emails and letters to all of our entities within our county last week, notifying them, please don't set your budgets, please do not send no levies to commissioners, because your valuation from August will be changing, and the deadlines will be changing. So hopefully they saw their emails or they actually talked.
So to build this budget that we're going to build, we're not going to have a final assessed valuation?
You will have a final assessed valuation as of January 3rd.
So what did they comment about budget? That budget actually needs to be approved by December 31st, because that is the law.
That was discussed.
So what was that decision?
I don't think that fell on any, I don't think anybody picked that up.
So it is my understanding, and right now it is the approval with conditions. So the budget may actually have, and that's when we may have to use the reserves as a conditional line item 2 based upon the information that we have, and that's kind of I was on conversations, a lot of us were on the phone yesterday, and that's gonna be one thing that we won't know until the final dollar amount, which is way past the deadline.
Well, that's how we
budget
build our
approval.
budget.
Correct.
On the final assessed valuation.
And I can tell you, commissioners, other assessors, other elected officials, other entities, we're trying to get legislatures to understand, we have a statutory deadline to adopt a budget by the end of the year. That way we have the authority to pay bills January 1 of 2024. Nobody seemed to really give a damn, and pardon my language, about that point. We were so focused on other issues at that point that they really were not catching that that was another piece of this machine that we needed to pay attention to and get focused. Because entities, most of them that I spoke to here locally, and this was kind of the what I heard from other assessors, most entities did not realize that we had a special session going on that was completely impacting what we do at the end of the year.
So, Jody, the school districts and some districts are going to be filled 100%.
Correct.
However, small governments like Las Animas County, we are above the 13.5 threshold percentage. So there will be, right now, under the current legislation,
I think 90% backfill, 85 to 90% backfill, maybe, is what I saw.
yeah, so there is, as the language comes out, we also need to see if there is any calculations. And then the challenge for us is going to be if a lot of these, if we were to be the recipients of a backfill, we would have to be certain and careful that these are not taper reserved dollars, because at that point in time, there may be a lawsuit filed against counties and states for using taper refund. However, the General Assembly said, we're going to go and get this money for you. The challenge for you to spend it, it's up to us. So we might have to kind of wait. If we get a check, let's perhaps not cash it until this legal concept is beyond us.
And
It's going to be a challenge.
Commissioner, for those counties that are not DeBruce, how do they handle that? Because the certification is going to be a certain date, how can they get extra funding based on their statutory?
Yeah.
Well, that is, commissioners, that is why there is very specific and broad language in part of this bill that actually, for the first time in 21 years I've ever seen, that speaks to a lawsuit. Just what Commissioner Lopez was saying, should there be a lawsuit, and I'm sure there is going to be more than one, these funds that are coming back to these entities, the big question, layman's terms, who's going to pay that back? Should a court of law say that the state was not legally correct in their process, and they broke the law in returning these funds to entities? Who is going to have to pay back those funds? And that was, there's actual language in there stating, just like as Commissioner Lopez said, you might hold on to the check because we're not sure who's going to have to pay it back.
And part of the whole concept is this 19-member commission that's going to be in place is basically going to be making recommendations. And this commission is going to be seated for 3 or 4 consecutive years. The recommendations go to 2027, which I hope they meaning the appointees for the Blue Ribbon Commission, I made a recommendation to actually send our county assessor, and then we need a voice from the county commissioners as well from rural Colorado. So we'll see what happens, but at the end of the day, that commission is going to implement this Senate Bill 1 with all the constraints regulations for 2023. And what happens in 2023 should the valuation remain at the same level and or even grow higher? Hopefully not.
And that's what we were trying to explain to them as assessors. We reval on a 2-year cycle. So your values for 23-24 will stay the same unless you have a demolition or you add on to your home or there's something new construction. That would be the only reason your values would change. We will reval again in 2025. Depending on what the residential and commercial market does, that will determine what our values do. Trying to get everyone to understand that values go up, but values also come down. It's a bouncing ball, depending on what the market does. And trying to get that ideology for legislatures to understand, even though they're the ones, and granted, they aren't the ones that set the law back in 1980, But that was the thought process back in 1980 when they implemented the laws that all assessors have to follow, was that this is a bouncing ball. Values go up, values go down. But the purpose of it was to keep a static line, a flat line, for entities and for schools to have a flat line of revenue coming in off of property tax. Well, we've got so many thinkers and doers up there that they don't listen, they just want to fix, but they don't even know what the problem is. They don't understand what we do works. So this blue ribbon, we were trying to get more assessors on it, because I can tell you, we could get 64 assessors across the state in one room, and we could not come up with a solution for it. That is how complicated this process is, but we are asking for a seat at the table. We were awarded, I think, one chair, either from a previous assessor or an acting assessor, the Department of Taxation, I believe one commissioner, one from a local, so it'd be like a board of real estate or some business board, and then we would have 3 R's and 3 Dems from, 3 Republicans, 3 Dems from the Senate, 3 from the House. So, unfortunately, when you get too many cooks in the kitchen, nothing gets done.
Well, Assessor Amato, thank you first and foremost for being a part of this process for Los Angeles County and for our state. And thank you for attending their renewal meeting last on the 9th and giving that board an update of what's to come at that time of HH and this and that. So, bottom line is, with what was passed, actual dollars, assessed dollars is one thing, but the actual dollars in a deficit was 90-some thousand if HH was to pass. Now with this new legislation in envelope math, what does Los Angeles County look to decrease in
actual dollars through the door? Should be about 220,000 actual dollars through the door.
Instead of the 900?
Instead of the 900,000, about 800, yeah, 8 to 900,000. So it's a small decrease.
$45,000 in actual cash dollars?
No, that's actually 220,000 in actual cash dollars.
So one of my question is that Senate Bill 1 is going to reimburse local governments $54 million in expected lost revenue and school districts $146 million. When we do the math, there is going to be a very small percentage for small entities, county governments, and these are only the ones that have their assessed valuation remain under 13.5%, which for us is going to be kind of moving the numbers. One of the questions, in fact, this morning I got a phone call from a friend that owns a business. What about residential tax support and breaks? There was nothing on those bills. I mean, for commercial.
No, there was nothing. Commercial is already receiving 30,000 actual value off the top because of Senate Bill 22-238. So the tax bill they'll receive sometime next year, we have removed 30,000 off the top of their actual value for businesses. But as far as the special session, commercial businesses did not receive any special treatment or any. We are not directed to do anything with assessed values for commercial businesses, nor ag, nor vacant, nor industrial. This is strictly on residential. And I believe the reason being was because residential values were the ones that took the largest hit. Our commercial values pretty much across the state stayed flatline. But our residential values, anywhere from 30 to 80 in my county, across the state was 50% increase.
So, once again, as a reminder, Senate Bill 3 is going to send $847 to individuals, which basically your refunds, they're going to be all the same.
That was for the Tabor refund, and I'm anticipating seeing quite a few lawsuits coming out of that, because we voted 60%, over 60% of the state of Colorado said, no, please do not touch our Tabor. And elected officials, the majority of elected officials under that gold dome, said, we really don't care, we're going to do what we want to do, and they equalized the Tabor refund.
Well, I want to thank you so much. Any additional questions? And for anyone,
Yes, Phil.
Mr. Dornica.
I've got one, the 220 envelope math.
Envelope math.
Is that from current?
That's from my August certification.
Okay, the August certification being that certification that included the bid.
That included Senate Bill 22-238, which was 30,000 off commercial, 15 off of all residences, 15,000 of actual value off, lowering our assessment rates as we had to, And, but it also included our increased evaluation, my reeval.
Yeah, the 50% or whatever.
Yes,
Okay, so
increase.
it's really, it's not a net loss from what we've seen historically, it's a net loss of what we potentially.
What I certified in August.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a slight haircut according to the governor. I hate to quote the governor, but he said, we're just getting a slight haircut.
Thank you.
So, but I really am hoping that all of my entities are very well aware. We will be doing our jobs that we would do in December in January.
As we go through this process and the process opens up a little bit more, please keep us abreast.
I will.
Information that you find. I know we're going to be going to CCI conference, and that's going to be one of the bigger topics that we're going to be addressing, because it doesn't sound like much, but from the regular 6.765 to 6.7 and the additional $25,000 exemption, it's going to make a big...
It's going to be impactful. It's going to be impactful. It's going to, I am concerned about some of my smaller districts that were they were just barely budgeting and making it now, and it's going to be a lot of, I am going to be educating a lot of boards and a lot of entities in the next coming weeks to understand it. We are having our Assessors Association that first week of December, and I have a feeling this will be all we get discussed.
And for us internally, Director Coverty, one of the things that we do in the budget, I think we have to take that back of the envelope math, or at least try to get as close as we can.
Right, we can always amend it.
That
This
is
January.
correct. That is correct.
And I will be getting,
Supplement. Yeah.
and I will be getting myself and my staff, we will be getting out our final certifications as soon as we get the actual stamp of approval from the Department of Taxation. So they are the governing body that's going to direct us exactly how we have to do this.
You've given me a little bit of direction.
Yes,
Thank
trying
you.
to keep the information pipeline flowing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Everybody have a really nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you for that.
The turkey is cooked.
The turkey is cooked. We're having hamburgers.
Thank you for being on that tax and finance meeting that we had at CCI.
You're very welcome. I hope I was able to educate a few more.
As always, good job.
As always, thank you guys. Thank you.
Let me call on, thank you so much for that information, and for all the constituents, if you have any questions as far as your assessed valuation, don't hesitate to reach out to our county assessor, and that's going to be every county assessor. We went into this legislative session with 64 challenges, and as Jody said, we needed 64 different formulas for each county, so we're all individually unique. The craziness is that on this we come out of there, and if you're a size small, you're going to wear the extra large jersey. It's one size fits all. That's what came out of Denver, so let's keep that in mind. Let me call on anyone from the clerk and recorder's office. Anyone from the county treasurers?
Good morning. This is Donna, Los Angeles County Treasurer. The only thing I have to report is coming up on December 1st is our annual tax sale. It'll be held at 10 o'clock in the Commissioners' Chambers. And we have probably about 513 more or less parcels to auction. So hopefully that'll be a blessed day. That's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Anyone from the Sheriff's Office? Anyone from the District Attorney's Office? And do we have anyone from the Coroner's Office? Okay, now, John, thank you for waiting so much. We have a couple of presentations. We're going to call on, we have an update, broadband update from CCOM. John and I believe Ann.
And Boswell.
Very good. Please come up. Or you can actually, are those mics on?
Yes.
Yes. Whatever works for you.
This is fine. I can just
Very good.
now do the presentation. All right, give you a quick update. So, hey, commissioners, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to give you guys an update here. I've been in communication with Phil and great communication back and forth. It's probably best with the complexity of some of this, just like there's a moving machine. that happened this last week. There's a big machine with the broadband and what's going on there, and sometimes the legislature doesn't understand the left hand from the right hand, and how one hand impacts the other. So I thought I'd give you a quick update. There's two different pools of money, or overall pools. One is some federal money that's coming in. One is from the CPF. So Colorado gets $168 million in that pool. That the applications have gone in. So CCOM did a joint application with SCED. We partnered with them. We did several areas. The one that impacts you guys, we actually did an area going up Highway 12. So basically from Trinidad, I don't remember where the final cutoff point was, but it's it's getting up towards Monument Lake, maybe back towards that western area, somewhere in there, that we would build out a fiber backbone and some broadband along that path there.
So on the challenges that we had with the state land at one point in time, John, that has been already corrected?
I think so. I think we're past that now, that we've got another route that we can move to get the fiber built on up there. What we did to get Primero schools, this is what CCOM did. We've got a wireless shot going up there, a licensed wireless shot, so it's not going to get interference. So it's licensed through the FCC, that we can at least get the school what they need. It goes up to Moulter Tower, I believe, up there from the school here in Los Angeles. So at least we've got them up and functional and working. The goal is to get fiber completed to replace that radio shot with fiber optic cable, then, as well as extended on past there and get people hooked up there. So that's one. We should be hearing something anytime now, probably within the next several weeks. It's anticipated the state's going to announce who got grant money, who gets awarded grants from that. The other pool of money, and this is the bigger one, it's $826 million that the state got. That's through, it's called BEAD, or the BEAD money, broadband equity, and I don't remember what the rest of it is, but it's the BEAD program. It's through NTIA at a federal level, which then the state's the recipient, which then they're taking it and redistributing it. They're in the process of figuring out the rules right now of how they're going to do that. They're on their second round of public input on that. It's anticipated probably the second quarter is when they'll actually have it where you can put in the applications for early quarter two, maybe late quarter one, depending. So that's, again, we'll be able to go after money for that at that point. The other one then is that's state money, the third pool of money. It's called a high-cost support mechanism, which that's been around for a number of years in Colorado. It's really done two things. Primarily, it was designed for the small telephone companies that they could get subsidies to help them. There's some small telephone companies in the northeastern part of the state. They literally have maybe 100 people on the whole phone system. It's hard for them to operate without some kind of a subsidy to make it work. That is set to sunset this next year, the funding for that, and they've redeployed some of that over the last several years to go towards broadband deployment. That is going to be sunset, or scheduled to be sunset in 2024. That's up for renewal. The sunset report came out. They're recommending keeping that perpetuitously for the small telephone companies to keep subsidizing them. And the other piece, then they're going to recommend 5 years for the broadband, because at that point, well, maybe we don't need it at that. So they recommend reviewing it in 5 years. Again, those are coming up. There is one last round of that state funding that we may look at, potentially even doing something down in Los Angeles County, because southern Los Angeles County is considered by the state broadband board critically underserved. So we're going to explore that. We're waiting to see what the rules come out with here in a few weeks. Again, we're exploring that.
To the best of your knowledge, is there any points awarded to counties that are underserved?
Yes, so this critically underserved, it's actually, they created that in statute a few years ago. They haven't implemented it the way it was really intended, the broadband board, because of changes in the broadband board and how that works. So the areas that... Politics, yes. But statutorily, they deemed 8 areas in the state critically underserved, and southern Los Angeles County is one, basically all the way from Ken to Trinidad, excluding the area right around Trinidad, and then on up Highway 12. The way it was statutorily listed, that gets first priority. So if somebody puts in for that, and they meet all the qualifications of an application, they're supposed to get the money first, anybody that puts in for critically underserved areas. So again, we're going to see what their rules look like here in a couple of weeks. They have a workshop on it in December 14th. And we may consider applying for some of these. The advantage with those that are critically unserved, there's not a statutory match that we have to do. The person applying for it can say, I'll do a 0% match or a 1%, 5% or whatever, because those are just so rural, there's no financial means to make a business case to do that for anybody. That's why nobody's done that. So that's those are the grants. The other thing I want to bring you up to date on, there's some things going on with CDOT. I don't know if you're aware of what they've been wanting to do with a fee for installing fiber optic cable. Less than a year ago, it was probably in the spring, they came out and proposed they wanted 87 cents per foot per year to be able to have fiber optic cable in the state's right of way, which that didn't go over very well. They dropped it down to 27 cents a foot, which is still makes it completely unaffordable. About a week and a half ago, they came out and said, okay, 3 cents a foot. And it actually was before the Transportation Commission last week at their meeting. And then they'll have it up for actual approval then next month in December. Go ahead.
No, so, John, I had an opportunity, Attorney General Weiser was in San Luis County about a month ago, and there was quite a bit of attendance at the meeting, and I asked him that question.
Mm-hmm.
For him to actually reach out to CDOT Executive Director and work with counties that are underserved so we can use their conduit in the right of way to bring broadband. So the very next day, I get a phone call from the Attorney General's office. Let me see what we can do. So hopefully, and I have the name of the AG that called on behalf of Attorney General Weiser, and he said any information that you might need, please pass it on. And of course, I mentioned your name, part of the partnership that we have here in San Luis County. So if something is coming on that, that is great.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I've been on some calls with SCED and with Action 22. They actually had one with Action 22. They had one of the attorneys, the AG office that's representing CDOT. He was very careful what he said, but I know it was very clear that they have some frustration with CDOT in the direction they're going with some of this. There's actually concerns that CDOT's going to get a lawsuit against them. They put themselves into a no-win situation. Some of their past practices probably are a violation of the law, and if they acknowledge that that's incorrect, the companies that pay all these literally millions of dollars, that they should know that there's going to be a lawsuit. And if they don't take action to do things legally going forward, there's probably going to be a lawsuit there. So they're on a very thin edge with what they've got going on. So the bottom line is, I know CCI is going to be running a bill. It's Byron Pelton, not Rod Pelton, but I think he has agreed to sponsor a bill, and there's bipartisan support on this. The telecom industry is calling it the Green Bill, and we can get all of our wants to fix this problem with CDOT. If you look at it legally, and we've not been able to get an answer from CDOT on this, or a straight answer, the feds allow for telecom to have a waiver, and they're claiming, what CDOT is saying, well, you're not a telecom because you're providing broadband over that. But what they won't address is, we still are through the PUC, the Public Utility Commission, we are a CLEC, or a competitive local exchange carrier. We have a certificate of necessity and convenience and necessity. We're a regulated utility on part of it. So we are therefore allowed the waiver, but they won't acknowledge that. And that's where they've got themselves in this back into a corner, CDOT does. So again, we're going to push for $0 to do that build from Kim to Trinidad and pick up Branson along the way. It's still unaffordable, even at 3 cents per foot per year. We did some rough numbers estimating how many customers we'd get there. It would cost each one of those customers probably about $8 a month. It would be that would be the cost on it to support them on that distance right there. Again, it just makes it unaffordable. That'd be probably one of the single biggest cost factors in that construction or the ongoing operation. So again, we're going to be working very hard on that. I know CCI, you may hear something here, and that's what we wanted to get out and let all the commissioners know. So far, with what's been talked about in theory, they're behind it. we're behind it 100% to support this. So again, we'll keep you updated as this progresses. The challenge is we can't apply for grants knowing what our cost is going to be. If CDOT's going to have a cost, I'm going to throw a cost of 3 cents per foot and 5 cents up front. If there's no consistency there, we can't apply for a grant and commit to that. If we don't know what it is. So that's the challenge. What's probably going to happen, there's going to be a bill real early in the session in January, and they can put a safety clause on it so that they can basically enact it immediately. There's a time period they have to wait, but they put that safety clause on there, and then it's basically going to take effect right after the governor signs it. So they're hoping to do that so that when these other 2 rounds of grant money open up, then people will know what it'll cost and what they can actually do for grant purposes.
Within the legislation, one of the things that we hope to see is actually that the provider, in this case, whomever CCON, would have access for any repairs 24/7 to any breakage. Now, since that's CDOT right away, that has been a point of contention. That CDOT has to be present, they have to be there. Do you have any information on that?
We haven't had as much trouble in that area. One of the things that's run our costs up, it used to be CDOT had employees that would go out and do inspections on the contractors and make sure everything was being done properly. Now we have to hire a PE, professional engineer, that's been approved by CDOT to be out there the whole time that the contractor is working in the right-of-way. It's driven the cost up pretty significantly doing that.
So has there been any communications with Todd Osborne with the CDOT Utilities Director on moving forward with that? I mean, or is it just straight to the Transportation Commission?
It's going straight to this is all being put through to the Transportation Commission. Staff is recommending these price increases. There is one other thing so I was at a Joint Technology Committee meeting back in August. So they actually, there's been a lot of contention over this whole CDOT process. So they actually voted to put in and made a motion and are going to have to put forth 2 bills. We're waiting to see the drafting of it. The drafters have been really busy, especially with this HH stuff coming up. So we're anticipating seeing that here within a couple of weeks. 2 bills. One of them, they're afraid because CDOT wants to charge this fee, they want to set it up as an enterprise now so that there's no taper implications on it. 2, then they want to streamline the process and require that. The governor actually had an executive order out, as well as there was legislation passed, and CDOT still has not complied with it. They were, in August, they were 1 year out and missed their compliance date on it. They took a lot of flack for that at that meeting. I mean, they ran on for probably 15 minutes, saying like, why did you give us bad information? You said you could get it done this time. It's not like you missed it a week or a month or 2. You've missed it for over a year now. So again, it's been a little bit contentious with CDOT and the legislature and the governor's office. So again, we may come back and ask for your support with CCI on that, but we want to give you a heads up. This is what's going on. We're pretty sure we're in alignment with CCI on this, that they understand the needs and the challenges, so we're behind this.
What's CDOT's justification for wanting to charge that fee? I mean, I know Commissioner Lopez alluded to using their conduit, but if companies are using their conduit, I'm fairly sure they have a line conduit from Trinidad to Canada. What's their justification?
Their justification is they have to keep track of it, and that somebody may abandon it, and then they have to figure out who it belongs to. And everybody said, well, if it's in the ground, call 811 and they'll tell you exactly who it belongs to. That data's out there. And they've had it, it's like, oh, we've got ongoing paperwork and we have to, they've had all kinds of excuses, which they said, this is our actual cost to do this. They actually said 87 cents was their justified cost when everybody said, show us how you came up with that number. It rapidly changed to 27 cents a foot. It was still no justification. And now they're down to 3 cents a foot because that's what I believe it's the BLM or the Forest Service, that's the fee that they charge. That's now their justification. So it's been very nebulous and changes pretty much on a day-to-day basis.
If they wanted to make that an enterprise fund, then it would have to be self-supported. They couldn't have excess revenues. I guess they could have excess revenues, so the 3 cents, they must have some kind of justification for it from somewhere.
Well, I think the revenue is for the fiber that they do have that they own right now, that they are leasing out to other places. They're concerned with that becoming a Tabor liability.
Okay.
Because they do own some fiber right now, yeah.
Not necessarily 3 cents a foot, enterprises, whatever.
Yes, but
they're previously had to use their fiber, okay.
the 3 cents may come underneath that. It's not really clear yet, or we haven't seen the drafted language, how that would impact it.
Well, thank you so much. Keep us posted. I think, the appropriations are coming from the taxpayers, paid for by setting it up on an enterprise, which basically goes around manipulating the accounting reporting. And so from that perspective, I think we have enough support from CCI, and the conduit is there, paid for by Coloradans. Should be for the benefit of Coloradans. That's kind of the conversation that the AG, now however, he made it very clear, and I want to be certain that I provide this clarification. He says you got to remember they're a sister agency. I have no authority to mandate anything that they do because it's all through legislation.
Yes.
So that was one of the points that he clarified, which makes it challenging now. At the end of the day, it's double dipping. Call it a tax or a fee, still coming out of the appropriations from taxpayers' dollars. So.
Exactly, and that's the attorney that spoke to Action 22. He said the Attorney General can't really make a lot of comment on this because he may have to represent CDOT in case of a lawsuit. He said, though, if there is legislation, then the handcuffs are off and he can say that he either supports this and why he supports it or doesn't support it. So, they're kind of walking a fine line. It was very obvious they're frustrated with CDOT, the Attorney General's office is.
Well, thank you.
Anytime,
Thank you so
be glad to come to anytime, give you guys updates, and we'll be in touch. I can be in touch with Phil or whoever else and let you know once we see that draft legislation, we're 100% behind it, or we'd like to see these adjustments or whatever. And that way you can relay that through CCI.
Very good.
Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
Next we have the Veteran Service Officer, Mr. Ray Bonham. Please come forward. We have some exciting presentations.
Commissioners, thank you again. It's that time again. Every year, thank you again for letting me recognize some of our constituents in our community that do great things for our community. So I know none of y'all knew why y'all was here. But again, it's the great work that you do in our community. And again, your work does not go unnoticed. So with that being said, first person that I would like to call up is Marianne Kastner. Please come up to the front. So Marianne Kastner, she's retired from the military, nurse, right? Retired nurse. She's been around for a long time. Again, these veterans that do things in our community, they don't ask for a reward or anything, but I think it's a great opportunity to honor them and thank them for their service. Because again, she's been there throughout thick and thin. She makes blankets for veterans when they're in a nursing home. She does that. Nobody knows that, except I know that. Because she brings them to me and she gives them to me and says, hey, Ray, do you know anyone who needs a blanket or someone who's in our nursing home? So she does that. And then also she's there to download the commodities. Every Tuesday, today is download and give out distribution today. So Marianne, I want to take this opportunity to thank you. And again, this is a plaque from the commissioners and also from the Veteran Service Officer, and recognition and appreciation for your community service to all veterans. Thank you, Los Angeles County Veteran Service Office. And again, I know this means a lot to me. It really does. And I know just you being a veteran means a lot, and then you still give it back to your community and continue your service. So thank you.
you very much. My husband and I are both veterans, and we are so thankful that we're here in Trinidad because there's so much that we can do. My husband, not so much because of his health problems, but I found a myriad of things, both veterans and through hospice as well, because I volunteer with hospice. But there's plenty of things that we can do to serve our community, and I'm really, really thankful that I've been given this opportunity.
Congratulations. And if you don't mind, we're going to take that photo up at the very end of the race.
If I may, Chairman, Mary, thanks so much. As a Council of Governments Board member, and this Board of County Commissioners, usually was 7 years ago, the commodities program fell into our lap, and it was failing at that time. We were able to assist Veronica Mays at that point in time, and I believe the entire board, we were there helping out. Without your volunteer, we'd still be there today. Without all of your organization and the groups and all the veterans that are doing this. So thank you so much on behalf of the board for all your volunteering for the commodities program in Los Angeles County. It sure means a lot to us.
All right. Next, we have Trinidad Los Angeles County Veterans Memorial Committee. Please come on up. So, Trinidad Los Angeles County Memorial Committee, commissioners, you know who they are, you know what they do. Again, you have support this cause they received a grant also from the county to help continue on with their parades and everything. The luncheon, Memorial Day. So there's a lot of things that goes on. But behind the scene is Trinidad Los Angeles County Memorial Committee. Some of them not here today, which would be Mac Dominguez and Marianne, I can't say her name. Gator. And then also
Jack Israel.
Yeah, Jack Israel.
Robert Steele.
And Robert Steele. So again, what they do, they've been around for over 24 years, going on 25 years this year. So again, I know y'all been around and y'all seen what they started here, and it continues to grow, and people can see, continue to support that cause. But behind the scenes, Linda Barron, Rose, and Judy Mangino. And again, I'm part of these organizations because as a veteran service officer, I feel I need to know what's going on. So that's why I know what these organizations do for our community. So thank you. Again, in recognition for your appreciation for our community, to all veterans, thank you, Los Angeles County Veterans Service Office and the commissioners. Thank you so much.
We also have Jerry and Bernice Render is also on our committee. One person missing here is Bernard Gonzalez. He will never forget. He stopped with me in 1997, and 3 years will be 3 years in January. But I want to take opportunity to thank, on behalf of our committee, I want to take this opportunity to thank the commissioner and the administrator for helping us and give us funds so that we continue to do so. The last couple weeks ago, we fed over 350 veteran and family, and Tony was there. We also lost 43 members of the veteran from last year to this year. And touched my heart each name will call and ring the bell and then play taps, and that's really touching my heart. Last Saturday, I also attended the DAR Castle Rock. They invited me to come up and do the presentation. They heard about what we do here in Los Angeles County for the veterans. So I was up there, and I gave 20 minutes of the speech and 20 minutes of the PowerPoint that I have my daughter put it together. and they were so amazed and so wonderful that what we do here for our veterans. And so I want this to be continued and ask the commissioner and to continue to help us so that we can do what we do. We did the Armed Forces Day Parade, we did the flag. This year we have over 2,000 flags. So you can see as the year go on, we have add more of the loss in our veterans. So on the bottom of my heart and the committee member, we want to thank you for trusting us and believing what we do. We want to thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mrs. Carter. For what you do. Ray Odom, thank you for what you do for these groups as well, supporting them, bringing them forward for recognition in Los Angeles County, and for all our veterans here in the community. Without you, the support you do, Ray, for these groups, I'm very thankful for, and providing the recognition that they deserve, and your predecessors as well, who sadly suit you are. As a county commissioner, I'm very proud of our team here to be able to find the funding to support these groups and these organizations. So thank you, Christy, Paula, Mr. Dorenkamp, for supporting these roles as well. It's not just commissioners, it's all of us that do this for you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, we got one more. I don't know what's going on in Trinidad, but we always have husband and wife teams that always work together. Pat Sandoval and Delana Sandoval, please come forward. Again, this is another great opportunity. Again, that's why we say teamwork makes the dream work. Husband and wife, we had this a while back, and that was with Jerry Renner and Bernice Renner. They received the same award, but I want to tell you, here's the thing, is these veterans and spouses, they're out there, and age doesn't matter. I mean, we have veterans that are out there in their 70s and 80s, but it doesn't matter whether it's cold, hot, they're always there. So again, Pat Sandoval, he's an adjutant for American Legion. And if you don't know who American Legion is in our community, they're like a stepping stone for anything that's going on with veterans, just as so much as the Trinidad Los Angeles County Memorial Committee. But Pat Sandoval puts out so much of what's going on in our veteran community. And he also links up with New Mexico. So again, he put out information just last week. They had a little barbecue or something down there. He puts it out there. So Pat, I want to thank you. And then also, Delana, thank you for all that you do and continue to do. And I know we're going to have you around for another 10, 15 years. So again, in recognition and appreciation for your community service to all veterans, again, Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County, thank you. And that doesn't go to say all those trips that you take up there to Pueblo to pick up those loads of food to bring back to our veterans. I want to thank you for stepping in when I'm not able to do that. All right.
I want to thank you for the recognition that you're giving me and my wife, but it's a team effort. When I say it's a team effort, it's all the veterans that are belonging to the American Legion. We get a little bit of the credit, but it's actually each and every member puts forth a commitment to help other veterans, and I think that Jerry and Bernice, because of what they do, has garnered a lot of attention, and it's well deserved. We do have a lot of veterans, and I'm proud to say that we as the American Legion are probably still leading the state with new members, and it's because of the exposure of what veterans are getting service of, with Jerry and Bernice and the rest of the support of the American Legion. We're doing wonderful things for the veterans, and I'm really proud of that, and thank you for the recognition today.
Madam Chairman, thank you both so much for what you do for this community as public servants. You understand that wholeheartedly. Doing this for so many years for the community, and for all of our veterans in the community, and I've said this many times before, which is not to dismiss anything, but the protections that you provided as veterans to the residents of this community is the very blanket that I sleep under every night. So I thank you for that and your service for our community. Pat and your wife, thank you guys very much, Ms. Sandoval.
So, once again, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, we want to say thank you so much. One of the passionate things that I am as a arrival to the United States is for the freedoms that you all fought for the morals and character that you instill in your children, in your family, in the generation. Continue the work that you have begun, because our nation is being challenged to its very core. To all of you veterans, God bless you. It is with great honor that we say thank you for your service, and you are the pillars, you are the heroes of the United States of America. So celebrate Thanksgiving with your family, and blessings to all of you. And certainly, Ray is one of those individuals that tirelessly just keeps on. One of the meetings that I attended with him, it was late evening, he brought the medical community together to find the solutions. You were there, Pat. To find the solutions as to how we provide better services for our veterans right here in Los Angeles County. And so from that perspective, the initiative that it puts in place, the effort, it is wholeheartedly representing who he is, but more than anything else, honoring the veterans of this great county, of this great state, and of this great nation. So thank you all.
If we could come up here, everyone come up here so we can get a group photo. And again, I want to thank you commissioners and administrators, Paula, Christy, thank you so much for always having my back. Come on up here. All right, come right over here.
Move back, John. Okay. Move back a little bit.
2 men in a truck.
Sorry. Hey, you're in the front.
Sorry, in the red. I can see your face in the red. You can find the window.
You ready to get it? Yeah.
Thanks for all the work.
I know. I have to sneak it in.
Okay, we will resume our back to business. That was so much fun.
After hearing such bad news from what's happening in our state capital, it's so refreshing to see this community presentations this morning, and almost good things are still happening in the world.
We will celebrate Thanksgiving, so that's what it is. We're going to go into public comment. Do we have anyone for public comment? Okay, public hearing, we have none. Unfinished business, we don't have any. New business, 9A, consideration of Royal Carbon liquor license renewal. Council, we read the application. Do you have any concerns?
I reviewed the application. It is complete.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioners, any questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the Royal Tavern liquor license renewal.
Second the motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Now, I should have commissioners, somebody else read this instead of me. Consideration of...
You remember that 6 years ago, 5 years ago?
I remember this. So listen to this. Consideration of Confederación Mutualista Mexicano e Hispanoamericana, DBA La Confederación Large Liquor License Renewal. Council, it goes back to you.
I reviewed the application and it is complete.
And I'm glad that this doesn't have to be recited with the oath, right? Okay, commissioners, any questions, any concerns? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Here's the gringo version of that. Consideration of, I move to approve consideration of the Confederation Mutualista Mexicana y Hispanoamericana. How do you say that one? La Confederación Lodge Liquor License Renewal.
Segundo. Second.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of Resolution 23-026 MF 2023-006 B&L Enterprise, Inc. Mr. Dorrington, do we have a resolution?
We do, sir.
Would you please read it?
Yes, a resolution of the Board of County Commission of Los Angeles County, Colorado, making findings and rendering a determination on the major facilities permit application, MF 2023-006, filed by B&L Enterprises, Inc., resolution number 23-026. Whereas B&L Enterprise, Inc. has filed application MF 2023-006 under the rules and procedures of Los Angeles County Oil and Gas Regulations, seeking approval to construct the Thatcher Heating and Processing Plant. The plan includes I-8CX's proprietary heating and purification equipment that uses PSA technology to recover and purify helium from raw gas to market-ready conditions. The location is in the southeast of the northeast quarter of Section 8, Township 26 South, Range 60 West, 6th Principal Meridian. And whereas Los Angeles County Planning Commission heard application MF 2023-006 by B&L Enterprises, Inc. at its meeting held on October 2nd, 2023, and has been recommended for approval. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners held a public hearing on November 7th, 2023, at which time said application was publicly heard and testimony was taken from all interested parties, including representatives of B&L Enterprises, Inc. An opportunity was afforded to the public to make comments on application MF 2023-006. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners taken into consideration the application and all supporting information submitted by the applicant, recommendations of the Los Angeles County Planning Commission, public comments made during the public hearing for the application, now therefore be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, that one, findings. The Board of County Commissioners hereby makes the following findings in this consideration of application MF 2023-006 by B&L Enterprises, Inc. Seeking approval for the construction of Thatcher Heating and Processing Plant 1.1 major facilities review criteria. Need that B&L Enterprises, Inc. has sufficient demonstrated the need for heating processing facility in the location proposed as evidenced by the information supporting the application. Stability, that B&L Enterprises, Inc. has sufficiently proven the stability of the proposed location and operation of heating processing facilities evidenced by the information supporting the application. Adequacy of existing roads and access to the site. That B&L Enterprises, Inc. has sufficiently demonstrated the adequacy of the access roads to the site proposed for the heating processing facilities evidenced by the information supporting the application. Compatibility. That B&L Enterprises, Inc. has sufficiently demonstrated that the proposed heating processing facilities is compatible with the surrounding land uses as evidenced by the information supporting the application. 2. The Board of County Commissioners hereby approve application MF 2023-006 by B&L Enterprises, Inc. for the construction of the battery heating processing plant, which includes IACX's proprietary heating and purification equipment that uses PSA technology to recover and purify heating from raw gas to market rate conditions. The locations in the southeast, northeast quarter section 8, township 29 south, range 60 west of the 6 principal meridian. This resolution upon motion made and seconded and affirmatively voted was adopted this 21st day of November 2023 Board of County Commission, Los Angeles County, Colorado, followed by your signature notice.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Any questions? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve resolution 23-026 MF 2023-006 BNL Enterprise Incorporated.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. Consideration of mailing professional services proposal for courthouse, county court, electrical, and plumbing.
Commissioner, before you for your consideration is, as Commissioner Lopez described, Melly, who is our consultant for the HVAC upgrades system, phase 3 of our courthouse upgrades, was asked to do some electrical design for the county court renovation that is being proposed and that Commissioner Lopez spoke about. Himself and myself have gone up to present underfunded for a grant for that upgrade. This was outside the scope of work that was described in the HVAC work that they did, and they are ongoing for us. So that's the board to approve this proposal that they submitted $3,000 for the electrical, and I think it's $11,000 for the schematic plumbing system renovation. We have been in contact, and I say we, myself and Finance Director Cobley, with underfunded. We received a $30,000 planning grant for the county courtroom. Their staff person in charge of that said the $3,000 is not an issue to pay for millage work out of that fund. And once we determine what our full cost of the planning part of that courtroom will be, then if there's a fund balance, then we could submit a modification to the contract that we have with underfunded to then go ahead and pick up whatever costs we need to out of $11,000 for the plumbing schematic. So I ask the board to approve this.
Thank you, Mr. Dornkamp. Questions, commissioners?
I have none.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the professional services proposal for courthouses, county court, electrical, and plumbing.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes, consideration of CDOT Main Street grant application placing asphalt on County Road 83.1 and improving multimodal transportation opportunities with a letter of PAT.
Commissioners, the board approved a prior submission for this similar grant. It was sent back to me with some suggestions, so I have revamped it with some of those suggestions being considered. So I asked the board to approve this. I think the deadline for us, I want to say, the 29th of this month. So I asked the board to approve this, and I'll get it back to CDOT and see what they say about our request.
Thank you, sir. So you will have as designed here, basically, a couple of benches and a bike rack and so on.
Yes, sir.
To benefit the students in the community of Honey.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. If there is no more discussion, I will entertain a motion on this.
Motion to approve the CDOT Main Street grant application, placing asphalt here at 83.1, improving multimodal transportation opportunities.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. 9F, consideration of all phase courthouse phase 3 proposal, and I think there has been a question brought up to this. Mr. Dornkamp, do you have any comments on that?
No, I just kind of summarized why this is necessary. We found where some of our HVAC renovation hardware is going to have to be attached or go through walls, etc. I shouldn't say go through walls, but there's a possibility that's going to happen at perhaps we ran into some hazardous materials. So this is part of the cleaning up of those hazardous materials. In those, it'll be isolated in those areas where there'll be some disturbance of, I don't guess, lead-based paint for the most part.
We, on that, there was a concern, how soon do you need to have this signed? Because there's a couple of things that need to be corrected on the contract, a little bit of language that has been recommended by legal counsel. So if there is no urgency on this, may we postpone the approval of this from today?
There's urgency. The sooner we can get this done, the sooner the contractors can get their work schedules lined up, but it's not critical. So I think I'm going to be asking for a special meeting the 30th of this month, so perhaps we can add it to that meeting. And
Okay. So
I will need to know what language.
based on that, then I think Commissioner Perez.
No, if there's no urgency on this at this point in time, no. Give Commissioner Haas a second to clear strokes and make I would make a motion to table this time. However, just so the board is aware, I'll be traveling that day as well. I won't be able to attend in person. The week of the 30th, I'll be coming back from CCI conferences, but I do have a board meeting that noon. So if we do it before 12 o'clock, that'd be great, because I'll be attending the 30th.
Phil, we have budget meetings that whole day? For all
That's
departments?
why I believe there is a lunch break at 12:30, at least by my.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I just want to give you that information.
And we would need probably 15, 20 minutes to go through the process.
Yes.
And I think most of us are going to be on the road, so we're going to call in
Okay.
for that particular meeting.
Yeah, so we'll probably all be driving anyway, but yeah, I can attend 5 minutes of that, yeah, so.
There'll be two other grants, NGFA grants, need your approval on, plus the event.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be attending the retreat for Farmers Passenger Rail at the time, and I can get out of that meeting for the time necessary at that particular time, and excuse myself. So having said that, I'll make a motion to table the all-phase courthouse phase 3 proposal this time.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes, sir.
I kind of went long-winded there for you, Commissioner.
Financial matters, consideration of bills and payroll for the first half of November 2023. Finance Director Coverty.
Let's see, payroll as of November 15, 2023 is $204,015.94. Do you have any questions on payroll? No. Invoices paid on November 15th. Let's see, within this packet, let's see. The assessor, we paid $3,849 for a new server. The retaining wall, he did a drawdown of $25,000. I think there's about $28,000 left on that balance to pay out. We did a flu shot clinic for the employees for 2022 to pay the health department. And I don't see anything else unless I missed something that you have a question.
One question.
Oh, I'm sorry, my statement. It's $340 we did for the clinic testing.
That's all right.
Wait,
So the JPBS grant,
yes.
that is a 12-month grant, so the drawdowns that we do is depending upon the usage of at the jail, correct? Which is, we have July 14,000, August 13, so, and then of course September 14. So there's fluctuation in there. It's not a set amount every single month.
Correct. Well, and so the issue with that was because they went over budget, and so they had, I think she worked it out to where I had to catch up on April, May, and June.
Okay.
To where I think that's why I had to pay all of that. But she did work it out to the state, so I think she had to use a little bit of the new fiscal year budget. But I think they worked it out to where the money still is there for them. And as soon as we get the money actually from the state, then we reimburse them. And I try to stay on top of that because I know they need the funding
Sure.
to continue, but yes.
Okay.
for the JDBS.
Thank you.
So that's why I think was that the 42,000? Yes, that was to get caught up on the late funding.
Any other questions, Commissioners? Otherwise, I will entertain a motion.
Move for approval of bills and payroll for the first half of November 2023.
Second motion.
Commissioner Luis Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess? Yes. Commissioner Felix Lopez?
Yes. We come to the fun part of finances, section B, information only, financial report for October 2023, Finance Director Coverly.
So as of October 31st, on page 1, you'll see I usually do a quick summary of each fund. And general fund is hanging on for the loss of $550,000. It's hanging on each month. Road and Bridge does have a surplus of $519,000. Airport, a surplus of $181,000. Contingent, a surplus of $11,000. Capital expenditure, a surplus of $757,000. Lottery, a surplus of $63,000. PILT, we have a surplus of $716,000. LEAF, a surplus of $689. And jail improvement, a deficit of $82,000, but I did transfer $100,000 just last week. I also did transfer $1 million into contingent for that, and we will see that on November's financials.
Okay.
Okay, and then general fund will have a bigger loss because I transferred $1 million from there.
So it'll be 1.5.
1.5, just to tell you that. But let's hope maybe sales tax will be good for November and help that loss a little.
Go shopping.
More shopping for the county.
Yes.
You don't call Black Friday for nothing.
Right.
Get us on the black. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions on that information only?
I've also looked at all departments and they are following budget. So this is the time of year when I start watching everybody so they do not go on budget.
I don't think there's a month that you're not watching. We appreciate that.
Okay.
We really say thank you for that. We're going to take, if I may, Commissioners, recess before we go into executive. I think we can call VHS.
I have a message to Director.
Okay, there it is. So,
Make a motion, Chairman, to exit the regular county commissioners meeting at this time and enter the Los Angeles County Board of County Commissioners acting in the capacity of Board of Human Services with the 10-minute recess.
Second motion.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Luis